Looks like I'm logging in anyway. As soon as I do this. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Drop it in the chat. Let me know where you're calling in from along with those affirmations. Drop it in the chat where you're calling in from along with those affirmations, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready to get this call started this morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get started. And as my other device continues, I had to restart my other computer. So my apologies. And I'll switch over when we're ready. But let me say good morning to each and every last one of you all. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is your weekly setup, right? This is definitely your weekly outlook, your weekly setup. And I want to make sure that each and every last one of you all are prepared for the week. So as you dive in, I do want to familiarize you with just a few things as we go ahead and get started here this morning. But understanding, right, that as we get familiar, we want to make sure that you are plugged in and you are tuned in, because this is about your personal economic empowerment, and you want to make sure that you are definitely plugged in. You want to make sure that you are sharing this information. So right now we are temporarily on Zoom. So I will tell you all that if you guys are on here and you want to share the social media, you want to share the live calls, you want to encourage, but I also encourage each and every last one of you all to personally get enrolled, right? You want to get enrolled because this will not be on Zoom forever. I'm telling you now, we're not going to be on Zoom much longer. That is coming to an end. And if you want to access the training, you want to access what we're doing, you're going to have to be enrolled, okay? You are going to have to be enrolled. So with understanding that you definitely are going to have to be enrolled into the academy, you want to make sure that you position yourself to do so, right? You want to position yourself to do so. And in making sure, and I'm going to switch over, but in making sure that you are doing just that, what does that mean for you? That means that what you're seeing is our website. And on our website, you want to come get some more information about BYOB. You want to join our webinar sessions. There is one tomorrow night at 7:30. Tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join our summits. As you come to the summit, you want to make sure you get registered this month, in the month of April. Well, let me not say this month, but in the month of April, what's actually going to take place is we are going to have 3 summits in the month of April. So you want to make sure that you get registered and you show up and you bring someone with you. You bring someone. You need more information as far as how this works. I'm going to take you to your success steps. You want to, there's a getting started and understanding how the affiliate program works. This information is essential. Understanding BYOB and also our affiliate program and exactly how that works. Then also, I want to make sure you understand about our funding site, because as an affiliate, you have access to, obviously this is a trading call, but we talk about wealth. We talk about wealth in its totality. We're talking about learn to earn, leverage, and protect. So on our Trading Academy site and it's here. Is down here at the bottom. On our Trading Academy site, you are actually, you're going to be able to learn to earn. This is where that takes place. You want to make sure you get enrolled. Now, if someone invited you out, get the link from them. If you found us on your own, just go ahead and get enrolled. We'll be able to know that you're there, become an affiliate. Because why is that important? You see the BYOB live that's right here. So the BYOB live, I'm not logged in at the time, but this is where our live calls will take place. So once again, we are not going to be on Zoom, okay? I can't tell you enough. We are not going to be on Zoom. So you want to make sure, and there's mine in the background. Why am I hearing an echo? Got it. All right, so we're not going to be on Zoom once again, but as you can see, this is where those live calls are actually going to take place. They're going to take place right here. When you come to your funding, this is where you learn to leverage and protect. So BYOB, that's what this movement is all about. Now let's go ahead and dive in. I know I had a few technical issues, but we're going to go ahead and dive in, because what I want you all to understand, you've done your affirmations, you've walked through that. I want to welcome all of you all, no matter where you're calling in from. I see many of you calling in from many different locations. And so I just kind of want to make sure, that we recognize all of you. Also, those of you calling, following us on YouTube and LinkedIn, welcome and good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right. So first things first, right? Let me get to the right website. And I want to come here. We're going to go through both of those. We're going to find out exactly what's going on. So our trading tools, okay, let's talk about what's happening in the market today. Now, what we have already put on the charts for you on our website, you actually see this is GBP USD. Now, GBP USD, this is the BYOB cash out strategy. You're going to see me flip back and forth between both of them. But just for a little bit more understanding, if you go back to on our website and on your success steps, there is, I had some things moved around. So it might be on, it should be here. But there's a video. It should be on. I moved some stuff around this weekend. So I'm just trying to make sure you have everything that you need. But we also have our BYOB cash out strategy that's on here that it's kind of like a walkthrough of understanding what the BYOB cash out strategy is all about. And I need to find out where he put it. So I'm going to come back to that. So let's not talk about that right now. But it's on there somewhere. But this is where the actual strategy is. So for those of you all who join us, and you'll see me go through it. I'm not going to walk through explaining it at this moment, but you'll actually see the BYOB cash out strategy. Now we build from here, but many of you, we were using a tool, and this is kind of like that next level tool. This is that next tool to where this actually fed into everything that we were using. So you're at the source now, and we wanted to make it easy. But in the evening, like not tonight, tomorrow night at 9 p.m., you'll be able to understand how to set it up, and that's what that basics call is all about. So they're going to walk you through how to set it up and how to understand the strategy. Now, what we have to do is I'm going to jump over here to Forex Factory. And once again, I told you I had some technical issues, so that's not loading, but we're going to start here because we need to understand what's happening in the market. Okay. So you notice that this is today, and where I have it is our red folders and our yellow folders, which are high impact news and also our medium mild impact. Anything that doesn't have any impact, I actually don't have it on there. Now, as you look, right, and as you can see, what you're noticing is that there is something. Let me make sure. I'm about to switch devices, but right now I'm still on this laptop. So I'm gonna make a little bit of space here this morning. I'm gonna filter this, and I'm gonna take off, I'm gonna take off that no impact and apply those filters. Once again, you can kind of see that's really all that's happening in the market today. My time is 9:33. So if I refresh it, that's when I pulled it. This is the one I always must refresh. And now my time is updated, as you can see in the top corner. And we want to see what's happening in the market. But I'm also going to go over here, and I want to allow this one to play. Okay, I'm going to go on our actual website. I'm going to click our daily news because this is where we're going to get quite a bit of our information from. And so, but we're going to play our daily news from right here. Then we're going to start analyzing some charts so you can prep for the week. Okay, that's fair. I thought so. Let's go.
Live from the world's capital markets, here are the latest financial headlines brought to you by BYOB Trading Academy.
Hello, and welcome to Monday's Daily Financial Review. Here's what's making headlines in the markets today.
Stress in the banking sector is being closely monitored for its potential to trigger a credit crunch, a US Federal Reserve policymaker said, as a European Central Bank official also flagged a possible tightening in lending. Swiss financial regulator FINMA said it was considering whether to take disciplinary action against Credit Suisse managers after Switzerland's second largest bank had to be rescued last week by UBS. Traders are betting on further increases in the price of gold after it touched a 12-month high past week, as investors predict the US Federal Reserve's cycle of interest rate rises is over and seek safe havens during banking sector turmoil. The dollar-yen price remained largely unchanged in the last session. The Williams indicator indicates an oversold market. The Bitcoin-dollar pair exploded 1% in the last session. The ROC's negative signal contradicts our overall technical analysis. The last session saw the gold fall 0.7% against the dollar. The CCI is giving a negative signal. The last session saw the oil drop 0.4% against the dollar. The ultimate oscillator is giving a positive signal. The US Dallas Fed Manufacturing Business Index will be released at 14:30 GMT. The US 3-month bill auction at 15:30 GMT. Germany's IFO business climate at 0800 hours GMT. Germany's IFO current assessment will be released at 0800 hours GMT. Japan's coincident index at 0500 hours GMT. Japan's leading economic index at 0500 hours GMT.
We hope that you've enjoyed Monday's financial review. On behalf of all of us here, we wish you a productive trading day. Be sure to join us tomorrow morning for the latest news and events from the financial markets.
All right, so let me go ahead and switch devices. And we're going to get started this morning. Now, while I'm doing this, you guys talk to me. How did it work out for you last week? When we did the analysis and we talked about you all getting into the market and we talked about you all taking trades. How did that work out for you all last week? How did that work out for you? I need it in the chat. How did it work out for you? How did it work out? Can you hear me? Because I know I just changed devices. Let me get a 555 in the chat if you guys can hear me. So, okay, lots of clarity, lots of clarity. All right, so we're going to start back over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be looking at the news from our site. So I need to have our, once again, our Trading Academy. So understand that you're not logging in here. Let me be clear. You're not logging in here. We've had a few inquiries. You did not sign up here. You don't log in here. You're going to log in exactly where you signed up. Your classes, everything that you're doing is going to be exactly where you signed up. So you're going to have to come back over here. All right. You're going to have to come back over here. Now, when we get on here on our Trading Academy, where we just were, we were looking at some of the news. Now, one of the ones we're going to highlight on this morning, let me jump back over here while that finished loading, as you guys can see why I don't know what's going on with my internet this morning, but we're going to push through. So one of the ones that we're going to focus on today, and at the pace that this is going, well, what I have, it might be the only one we're focused on, is that GBP USD, all right, is the GBP USD. Now, when we look here, or if not, you guys should have it up as well. You notice that GBP had a negative signal, okay? I've actually kind of already began some analysis on this one, but this is our GBP USD. Now, I'm going to take off our Hikinashi candles. So you're going to see me analyze without that. And then, of course, we're going to come back and we're going to add that. Because what we do is what we call a top-down analysis. And if you look at a few of the other things that we kind of analyzed through last week, now notice that I'm on our, and of course, if you weren't with us last week, this will look like a mess or a coloring book. And don't worry about it. I'm not about to start from here. But what I want those who were with us, put these candles back on, you can actually see where we marked up our channels. And I'm just going back to highlight for just a minute how important the steps that we're going to take are, how important these steps are. Because even the one that we did, the GBP AUD, when we talked about that zone and we talked about our trend line, and you notice that it never broke it. So because we understand that, we know that it not breaking it, it allowed us to not take that trade. Did this help anybody not take that trade? Right? Because that, once again, it's called a trading signal, but I'm gonna shift your mindset, because it's not a signal in the sense of, oh, let me just give you the take profit and the analysis. That's not what this is. This is an actual analysis because the market feeds information. And so it's not a guarantee like, yeah, we were going to take this sell, because if you took it without proper analysis, then you should not have taken it. Everything you do should be from an analysis. You have to completely understand the market. And so as you can see, sometimes it does what we analyze and what we believe it will do, and sometimes it doesn't. In this case, it did not do it. It kept going, but it stayed with the trend, right? It stayed with the trend of what was happening in the market, but it reacted to the zone that we identified, which was on this trend line. Another one that we analyzed last week is this channel for our AUD-NZD. And if you notice that it broke the trend, the channel that it was in, but now it's moving sideways. And these are those zones that we identified, okay? So this is where we are. If any of you are still following those trades from last week, this is where that is. And it did exactly what we anticipated and what it was going to do. Hopefully we'll have time this morning to come back to our US 30 and our Bitcoin. As you can see, that's doing exactly what we also analyzed, and it's stuck at that top zone. So we'll see what's there. So let's go ahead and talk about GBP USD. All right, GBP USD. Now, when I look at GBP USD, so go ahead, I'm about to say, pull it up on your own. On our site, we're going to look at, you kind of see a quick snapshot of some of those trade ideas, our daily news and those trade ideas. So once again, let's look. So it's largely unchanged since the last session. If I look at it, I'm on my daily chart right now. It's largely unchanged. So you might be scalping in this area. You might be taking, like, as far as we have a basics call that we do. And on that basics call, you might be taking some trades in there. But I'm trying to show you how to read the big picture analysis and how you take your trades within that area. So this is right here is what you're seeing as far as that's concerned. All right. And you notice that I am actually on my daily. So it is unchanged. Now, it's given a negative signal. The stochastic indicator is given a negative signal. And if you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this. So they're next to each other. So my stochastic indicator, right? You notice that I'm overbought. So it's overbought position. So this is how you read that. Now, this is not read on my lower time frames. This is going to be read on my higher time frames, okay? And so that's ultimately, where that's going to be read. So I'm going to, let's look at that GBP. Let's look at the full analysis that we already had. So as we look at it, right, we're going to get that support and resistance. I have it up to the side. So now I'm going to start here because I want you to understand the markups I already have. So now if you have questions or comments as we're going through this, if you have any questions or any comments as we're going through this, I want to make sure that you do drop it in the chat. All right. Drop it in the chat. And got you. All right. I can actually see you now online. So I definitely see your comments. So I definitely see your comments. Okay. So I can see you from YouTube and from Facebook. I see your comments. I just want to make sure because I didn't see them at first. I just got it up. So, all right. Now, what I'm going to do is do it like this. Let's go ahead and dive in there. And let's look at where we are, and then we're going to get that support and resistance, okay? So you notice that I'm on my monthly, all right? So on my monthly, this is the beginning of the week. Now, not the beginning of the month, but I went this high for a reason, because when I'm on my weekly, where we are at the beginning of the week, okay, I'm identifying those zones. So I'm looking at where we are, as you notice that we've been moving sideways. Now, before you start taking trades, you need to understand where you are in the market. All right. The same way I tell you guys, if you're driving, you need to understand where you are. But if you're going on a trip, you have to understand where you are. If I want to go to New York, then I'm not going to go south, on 95. I need to go north. But I first have to understand that I'm in Florida. Because if I don't understand that I'm in Florida, then how can I really go anywhere? How can I really effectively take a trip? I'm going to be doing all kind of crazy things. If I was in California, my trip would be different to get to that same destination. So we first need to understand where we are. And so when I'm here on my weekly, you notice that I have my area where the market reacted. And so what I did first is really just kind of mark that off. And you can kind of see how that area is kind of marked off. I'm not looking at where it wicked, you see it rejected, but that's on my weekly. But where we were at the time, it was reacting right here. And so I went up higher to see why it was actually reacting. So now as I'm looking on my monthly, okay, you can see over here. Now, this is before I pull my signals, before, I pulled the support and resistance. This is my analysis of understanding where we are. So we noticed that this was a heavy level on my monthly. This has been a heavy level of support. Now, somebody help me. What's the difference in support and resistance? What's the difference of support and resistance? It's the same line, and you guys hear me all the time. It's the same thing. It's the same line. It's the same thing. It's the same line. What's the difference? What's the difference? I'm gonna put my music back on. I promise. What's the difference? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So my support is the floor, which means that the market reacted off of here, and my resistance is a ceiling. So we noticed that we have a floor that we've been hitting. So we couldn't go any further. We had a very strong attempt right here, but the market did not go further. Now, obviously, this will look different on my lower time frames, okay? It definitely will look different on my lower time frame. So this is where we were. So as I began to drill down, you notice the area that we're in. So now if I look at my daily, you notice now you can see how the market is reacting. I don't see all of the other, I don't see everything else, right? So, you see how this pulled up. Technically on my monthly, I'm still in a downward trend. And on my monthly, it appears that what we're starting to create, right? I'm saying appears because we don't have a full, a full Elliott wave, or we don't have any of that yet, but it appears that on my monthly that I'm starting to make that pattern. Like that's what it appears. So as I drill down to my weekly, you can see why we would be having some rejection and why we would be reacting right here. Okay, let me know if you have any questions, comments as we go through this. So we're going to leave this there. We're going to respect this zone, but now this should help you. It should make sense as I get to my daily, because now on my daily, we're reacting off of this area, but we also see that. So what technically we're reacting, you see it's kind of in a buy, but it's not really in a buy. So it can still pull up to the zone area, and then it will pull back down, because this is a very, very strong trend because we pull this from the monthly. So we're going to respect that trend. Questions, comments, testimony so far. And I'm going to get those numbers from our news. Questions, comments, testimony so far. None? Okay. So let me put these numbers on here. So, and remember, I'm going to throw this watch away. My daughter watch. Oh my goodness. It kind of scared me, caught me off guard. She has an alarm on it and I don't know why. So 2133. Now remember, they give us an area on the support. It gives us an area on the resistance. So what we're doing for the sake of training is I'm putting both of them on here, right? I'm putting both of them on here, 2182. I'm gonna put both of them on here to kind of identify that zone. So this is that support zone that is identified. So what I'm gonna do, once again, we kind of block this area off. I'm gonna make it the same color that we kind of have it. I don't know why we ended up with white lines or gray lines, but so we have that zone. Don't worry about the colors. The colors don't mean anything. I'm just trying to separate them, make them different. So now I'm gonna put that resistance. Who's marking their charts up with me? Who is marking their charts up with me? Who is marking their charts up with me? Awesome. There we go. That's why you always taking trades. That's why you don't want to always taking trades. Who else is marking their charts up? All right. There we go. All right. So now you know, right? So I don't need it. So right up in this area, we'll just kind of bring them both out like this. There we go. There we go. There we go. We got some chart markers. All right. So now you see we created this zone and taking pictures. Okay. Now you see we created this zone. So now I'm going to start drilling down to my 4 hour. So we've identified a strong area of support and resistance. This was identified on my higher time frame. This is the support and resistance that was identified on the chart. So we already know where we are. We had a trend line and we're still, I mean, did we technically break this? So what we were doing over here is creating those higher highs, right? And here are lower lows. Y'all with me? So if I put a little circle here, right, we were creating those higher highs. So you see the market is moving up as it moves up on that trend line. I'm on my 4 hour. So the lows, right? Those lows are there. Those lows are there. So it's creating those. Now, it pulled back down, but it does not mean that it broke. It hasn't really broken that trend. So we're still on my 4 hour, technically in that upward momentum. It's got to break through here some and push. There hasn't been a lot of movement though. Let's understand. It has not been a lot of movement. We had a nice little push here, but you see we're still kind of, now I'm going to tell you guys, I don't like, this is moving sideways, okay? Now, I'm going to tell you, that's 45 pips. I personally do not like trading the market when it moves sideways. That's me. I like the market to give me clear direction. If I put my Hikinashi candles on here, what is this telling you? What are Hikinashi candles? First and foremost, what are they? What are Hikinashi candles? What are right? So they're pretty much that bottom line. They're technically trend candles. They're that bottom line. You know, they're that bottom line. You know, that's what they are. That's that bottom line up front. You know, the majority of what's happening. So as you begin to drill down in this zone, all right. Matter of fact, let me show you what I mean. We're gonna do it this way. So I'm gonna have this here. And we're going to do my side by side. We're going to do my side by side. I'm going to change this one to our GBP USD. Okay. And so you see right now, I'm on my 4 hour time frame on both of them. So they look the same. All right. One is Hikinashi candles, one is not. So these are Japanese candles. These are Hikinashi candles. Okay. On my 4 hour. If I go to my daily, what we were just talking about right there, all right, you see what's happening there. Let's jump over here. Let's be on my daily side by side. Now, all right, this is the difference in the candles, okay? I want to help you understand. So this is the actual momentum, live market data analysis. This is what's happening, right? And it's today, this is all the movement that took place. But when I look at my Hikinashi candle, what is this telling you? So from yesterday, it pulled down, it pulled back up today. So yesterday, you see it look like, what does this look like? What's this look like? What's this look like? So what does this look like and what does this tell you? Let me get both my questions at the same time. What does that look like and what is indecision? Correct. What is that? So it looked like indecision. It tells you it's indecision. So as I'm looking at my candles, right, that there appears to be movement, right? So we're moving sideways. So for the last couple of days, and what actually took place? So first, last week, you know, we had FOMC. We had some news hit. It spiked the market for a second, which you see that it spiked the market. And now you can see it pull back down and now it's trying to pull, right? So it's indecision. The market is still adjusting and reacting to last week's news. Today is the first day, and this is always expected. This is what happens. But so now we have indecision. What I'm trying to do is help you to analyze and be able to take proper trades as the market gears up this week. All right. So these are traditional Japanese candles, and these are Hikinashi candles. This is why I like these, because when you see these, it can tell you, hey, no, So let's drill down to my 4 hour, okay? Let's look at my 4 hour. So even in my 4 hour, and the reason I'm showing you this is because if you say, hey, I'm going to dive in, hey, I'm going to take a trade, this is what I'm going to do, then you need to understand why you're taking it. You need to understand what you're doing. And so if I look at my Hikinashi candles, right? So they were in an upward momentum, but remember, this is only about 45 pips. And this is a 63 in this case. But this is going to determine how you trade, your style of trading. I'm not going to tell you, hey, look, yes, I should take a trade right here, but, or hey, no, you shouldn't. But if you want to trade, I'm going to tell you this, I will say this, the trend is your friend, okay? And if you're new to trading, and if you are attempting to start trading, if you are trying to get consistent, no matter how long you've been trading, understand the trend is your friend. If you counter trend trade, which is this, like, we have been in an upward trend. If you take a sell right here, you are what you're doing called counter trend trading. So we have already identified that we're in an upward trend. If you take this sell, you are counter trend trading. Now, you need to be good at counter trend trading. It is a riskier trade. That is going to decrease your accuracy. All right. It is going to decrease your accuracy because you have to understand where you're at and what you're doing in order to take those trades. Now, they do have people that counter trend trade very successfully. I'm not. So once again, your trading style, how you trade. Then, of course, you have indecision, and that's just what it is, indecision. And that's what we're talking about, how the market is moving sideways. So now I'm going to drill down a little bit more. And now this is what I mean. So you see, I'm still on my Hikinashi candles on my hour. And you can see that this is where some of you all might have taken a trade already. If there was any GBP USD dropped in the chat, this is what you are. Now, I wouldn't have taken any of these, but this is what you took. So let's drop down. Now, I want to kind of show you what you guys did take or what you guys will take or what you identify on those other calls, because there is a trend within a trend. Let me move this one over just a little bit so you can kind of see what I mean. Because now this, if you're scalping or zone-to-zone trading, this is what you would have been trading. I don't see a trade at the moment because I'm not trading past this. I'm going to let the market get where it needs to be. But no, I would not have taken any of this. All right. It's way too much indecision. Okay. Now, I don't like the choppiness that took place, even though it appears that right here. All right. If we pull this over here. So this is how you say, you know what? I want to take a trade. I don't want to take a trade. So if I come right here, if I look right here, obviously from a sake of our BYOB cash out strategy, blue line cross over the red in an upward momentum. We were close to the top, which is fine. I have my green candle with a flat bottom and my PSR flipped to the bottom. So now you know that we were in alignment, and this would have been that we're on the 4 hour. Let me jump to the hour. This would have been where your confluence would have been. So technically you would have had confluence. I do like to check the 4 hour for confirmation. And you would have, many of you would have taken this trade. Many of you would have entered the trade. Now, being that was on a Friday, that's, the market. So we had news, and then of course we had Friday. So I don't like to take, certain trades on Fridays because the market starts slowing down, things start closing, yada, yada, yada. However, many of you would have taken profit, and that's okay. And so I'm just kind of showing you where you were and how you take those trades and the other opportunities that you have within there. So even if you are trading as the market opened back up, okay, as the market opened back up. So let me put another arrow right here. Why does this keep changing to a heart? Is it trying to tell me something? So once again, blue line cross over the red in an upward momentum. I have a green candle with a flat bottom, PSR flip to the top. PSR flip to the bottom. I look at my time frame confluence over here on the other side. Don't have it. So if I have to wait and I move it, I don't have it because it's not a flat top candle. I move it over again, right? I'm still within an hour. You notice it didn't move again. So this is ultimately where you would have entered that trade and you would have got your pips. I don't like 10 pips and cash out. I like to go to the support and resistance line, which you would have taken profit around here. So now this is where we are. So you can see the pattern inside of the pattern, right? Can you see the pattern inside of the pattern? So first, what do? First, right, you got that pattern inside the pattern. So first, what we did is we identified where we are, big picture of the market, and then based on your trading style, you kind of drill in and you take trades. If you are a zone to zone, if you are a swing trader, then you haven't taken a trade. If you are a scalper, then you would have taken this trade too. But even scalping, you still need to know where we are. So if I take this off, any questions, comments, or testimonies? Any. None? Y'all good? Okay, we'll keep going. All right. So now what we are, as you can see, right? So you notice that it does not say Hikanashi right here. So I do not have Hikanashi candles. You need to identify. If I change it to Hikanashi, I mean, outside of just the look of the candles, it will say Hikanashi right here. So I'm back on my Japanese candles, okay? And I'm looking at the zone in the areas that we identified. So you notice that it's trying to break through. Okay, so it has a negative signal. We've already identified that. It has a negative pattern on there. We've already identified those things. However, you know, you want to make sure that it breaks through, because we've identified that zone, right? We have definitely identified that zone. So what can happen is right up in here, it could reject. So if I'm looking, okay, I'm overbought on my 15, I'm overbought on my 30. These are all signs to me. I'm overbought on my 1 hour. I'm overbought. I'm almost overbought. I'm getting to the top. I'm not overbought yet on my 4 hour. So even if it pulls up, what's the probability of it? If it pulls up, where is it going? Right? If it pulls up, where is it going? So just understand that there's an expectation that this does pull back down. Questions, comments? Questions, comments? Questions, comments? None? Y'all quiet this morning. Y'all, exactly, wait for the retest. So, but what I'm seeing, right, is even on my lower time frame. So I'm gonna change the color of this. So even on my lower time frame, I'll take this off because we kind of just threw that one on there. But what I'm seeing is, when you look at it, you can kind of see that area here. And then, we still have this area right up in here around this zone where we've already identified. So we're looking for this to kind of hang out in this area. Right? So even if I use the wicks, don't get caught up on your trend lines, okay? Use the wicks, or I can use the body of the candles. Like I said, don't get caught up. Just 1, 2, pull it through. So you're looking at, it's probably going to pull back. And if it doesn't, hey, you wait for the retest. So we got 1 or 2 options. So let's see here. Not the one that I want. I don't want the wave pattern. Y'all tell me why this thing keep giving me a heart. Why does it keep giving me a heart? It's gonna give it to me anyway. So I always do this. Don't. I always click all of these things and then I'll find what I'm looking for. Let me just use this one for right now. So you see how it's pulling back there. So 2 things, it will have to do this. It will have to pull through. It will have to retest before it does anything, okay? That's what it will have to do. But right here, because we know we're at a significant area that was already identified via signal, look at how it's turning red, right? It'll come down, and don't quote me on this one. And did I not grab the right thing? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna delete this one and I'm gonna clone that one. I'm gonna clone this one, and then I'm gonna bring him down here and I'm gonna flip him around. Right? right? So you have to pay attention because you love me. So you have to pay attention. Any questions, comments, or testimonies? Any questions, comments, or testimonies? Any. Let me see her. All right, none. Now look at what the market's doing. Look at what it's doing, okay? I want you guys to be able to follow these. And so I want you to respect these lines, but I also want you to be able to follow these, okay? So when do you take a sell or when do you take a buy? When do you take a sell or when do you take a buy? When do you take a sell? When do you take a buy? When do you take the sell or when do you take the buy? After the retest. After the retest. This is that retest. I don't care how far it pulls down. Do not get excited after retest. You do not want a fake breakthrough. All right. After the retest, if I put my Hikanashis on, we just got another 15-minute candle. You notice that it's not pushing, it rejected. It's not pushing right there. Look at my stochastic, kind of my 30-minute, my hour, which we got at 10 o'clock. And you can see that's that hour candle. As we get ready to close this call, you'll get another 30-minute candle, okay? But you guys should take some profit based on your trading style on GBP USD. Is it clear or is it clear as mud? Is it clear or is it clear as mud? Clear or clear as mud? Clear. Very, very clear. Awesome. Now, what I'm doing on this call is more of an advanced. So I want you guys to understand that you still want to hang out with me. You want to make sure that you're on this line. You want to make sure that we're analyzing our setups, but it is more of an advance. So there is going to be some basic level of understanding that you have to have, in order to, pull through and in order to be able to take these trades. There's going to have to be a little level of understanding, which means that you have to go through the academy. That you're going to have to set up that demo account. You're going to have to start trading. Okay. This is not a call that you get on and you just sit and watch. I want you to mark up your charts. I want you to hang out with us. I really want you guys to analyze, you know what I mean? Analyze your charts. I do. I want you guys to analyze your charts. So I want to come back. And as we do this, let's jump back over here for a minute. This is one we've been looking at. All right. Now, I'm going to take this off because I know this should have adjusted. Matter of fact, let me see if this one pulled on there. Let's look at this news. If it gave us any adjustments. So I'm going to delete these. Okay. I'm going to delete those. I'm not going to delete everything. I am going to come up here on my higher time frame. Well, maybe I don't want to delete my channels. I don't want to delete my channel, but I do want to delete all of this because I want to start you guys off a little. You know what? I know how to draw them again. So it just had a lot going on. And we're going to remark it up. So we're going to remark it up. All right, so let's remark this one. And I'm going to get, so you guys understand the channels, right? Just so you understand how to mark them up. So I'm going to clone this. You see I'm on my daily. This is how you make channels, okay? You notice that it was in the downward, it was downward. So All right, so let's see here. All right, so let's put this support and resist. So, and I don't care where it falls through here, but where do we start? I can start it here. I can start it around here. But once I get that 1, 2, pull it through, guess what? We're now on the other side of that trend line, okay? 1, 2, pull it through. Regardless, I can, don't try to make it like, oh, let me make it. It's those first 2 touches. It's that 1, 2, pull it through. Now, if I had cushioned it a little bit, and why am I doing this? Because I don't need you guys so caught up on those on the trend lines that you start trying to force this to where we are now. If we do make an adjustment, but we were already here, so we're already around here. If I do this, then it just didn't come up and touch right here. So we're gonna see how the market reacts to this and where our lines and where everything is at. If I come up on my daily, right? Come up on my daily. So let me see here. I mean, I want to come down to my 1 hour. You can kind of see how the market reacts in there, but we're going to respect it either way. So matter of fact, I'm going to just put them both on there because I want you guys to see how the market, right? Didn't mean to click that. All that was I clicked this. If you guys didn't know you could do that. So that's what a paid account though. So you're not going to get that. Those little flashes and things that come up on there. So you notice that if we're respecting it from this area, we're now on the other side of the trend line. So if we're not, so let's get those, what I want to do before we get into analyzing that, let's get those support and resistance lines and let's draw those zones. How about that? Because it said it's oversold, right? And it's been moving sideways, which it gives that appearance. So 129 point, and please ask questions if you have them while I'm doing this. Because if you don't ask questions, I'm gonna just keep flowing and then I'm good. But I'm not doing this call for me. 129.90, right? So that's that little zone area we created. Did it respect that? Yes or no? Did it respect it? Somebody help me out. Right? So that's a support area it created. And now let's get that resistance. Did it respect it? So how important are these? Have you guys started going to pull these things from our news? Understanding? Now, are you starting to understand why I used to always say, hey, go watch Bloomberg, right? So we have our own now, but you understand why. So you can actually watch ours and look at ours, the BYOB news. But are you guys starting to understand why that was so significantly important? Right? So why it was important for you guys to go watch those things. Matter of fact, let me change these candles. I want the traditional. So now, and why it's still important, not was important. So you can see, right, that as we were in there, like I said, we broke that we're still gonna respect this area that's sitting right here, right? We're still gonna respect this area that's sitting right there. So what I'm gonna do is let me see. I actually have on my 4 hour, I have a harmonic pattern identified. Yeah, I see a hand. Put your question in the chat, please. Put your question in the chat. Put it in the chat. I promise I'll answer it to the best of my abilities. So now, obviously, it will take some time for you to learn harmonic patterns and learn, these things. But I want to identify. I'm not going to go through all of that on here. Not doing that. Not with 5 minutes left, especially. So, and I'm just trying to show you some zone areas, honestly. If you guys understand Fibonacci's, you can use the fibs to get your percentages. Oh, that was you with I didn't even know who it was. I just saw the hand on the thing. All right, so Now, if my orange lines, honestly, what I'm gonna do just to not be overwhelming on the chart is once we do these zones, I'll take these off. All right. So once we create our zones, I'll take these orange lines off because they were just to kind of give you that area. All right, that's really what that was. So I'll just take those off because now that's that support and resistance. So we don't need all those lines. So now, you know, because the box, out trying to do the box, right? I guess we could have put them in there. We could have adjusted it, but that's the way we did it. So now that I'm looking right here, all right. Uh-oh, I think I deleted one. Oops, 1, 2. I deleted the wrong one. It should have been an orange one I deleted. Let me put this number back on here that I have on my notes. 131.2656. Let's put that on there. Yep, I had to redo it. So now what this is telling me, let's come up a bit. Let's come up just a little bit. So these are the zones that it created. If I look to my left, right, do you see where where when I was in that pattern, all right, you can see, I'm gonna take these off for a second. I want you guys to focus right here. What you can see is the lines that it created. You notice that as we're in that wave pattern, as it's making that wave, that's also where we're hitting those support and resistance lines. Okay. So even here, you notice that we were making our lower lows and our lower highs. You notice that that's still where my support and resistance is. Okay. That's where fibs come from, that swing high and that swing low. So you notice that this is where we are. So you can see how we get our targets, how we identify these target areas. So once again, as I begin to drill down some, all right, I drill down some, you notice that it's rejecting from the top of this zone that we created, that we identified based on our daily news. It's reacting from here. Now, however, it's still possible that it can push up, right? It's still possible that this can push up off of this trend. So on my 4 hour, it's very clear that I'm still in an upward trend. All right. On my 4 hour, now I'm approaching that overbought territory, but it's also very clear that I'm here. It will have to break and start coming back down. Okay. That's what it's calling for. As you can see, it's reacting, but as it's reacting, it will pull here. Okay, if it pulls down to here, that's why this is our first target. And our first target is also where? On the top of that trend line. So support and resistance, trend lines. If you don't get anything else from today, support and resistance, trend lines. Support and resistance, trend lines. Okay, support and resistance, trend lines, and market structure. So support and resistance, trend lines, and market structure. Okay, so you notice that as we continue to drop down, same thing, support and resistance. Now, do you see the channel that we're in now? That's why I deleted the other one. That other one kind of don't matter at this point. Do you see the channel that we're in right now? If I clone that, right? You see the channel that we're in right now. So if I move this up a little bit, let's just move this up. Does it make sense that we still have room to pull up before we push down? Does it make sense that we still have room to pull up before we push down? Exactly. So this is where we are. So you notice that what happens as our Elliott wave starts to die out, we stop getting, so we still got to create that low. It could create that high and come back up. So we still got to come down here to create that low, and then it'll come up before it starts moving down. So you want to respect the channel, let it break the channel, right? Let it break it, and then you see you have those two targets you can take. So let's look at this for just a second. So you notice I'm on my hour. I'm on Hikinashi. Let's use my traditional Japanese candles. You see how it's pulling down to the bottom of that channel now. Now let's do my side by side really quickly. And we are going to go grab, that's USD JPY. You click the box, come click my USD JPY. And now it's mirrored, right? So I'm going to drop down. Okay, I'm going to drop down. I'm going to switch it over. No, I'm actually on my Hikinashi. So now you notice that what we had before was, and I want this one, let me put this one on the Hikanashi too. This is where you take your trades. So where we were before, okay, blue line cross over the red and the downward momentum, red candle with a flat top, PSAR flip to the top. All right. Notice that it puts my candle over here too. Did I have confluence? Yes or no? You know, I'm on my hour over here. Did I have confluence? Exactly. Absolutely not. So you didn't take it. I don't care how many pips it goes for. All right. And so it doesn't matter, you know, because guess what? This one, somebody might have by the luck of the draw got it, but that's not always the case. All right. So now what happened at 10 o'clock, move this over. Now you notice we didn't have it. We just got this flat top candle. So you notice that when I move this to this hour candle, we had this candle. We just got this flat top candle, just got it. And we're like 2 minutes ago. So we are now here. Notice this one did not move. So this is where we are. Let's jump to my 4 hour. Now, looking at my 4 hour, understanding, okay? I want you guys to understand clearly, hear me clearly. What type of trade would you be taking if you jump into this right now to trade to here? What are you taking? What are you doing? Are you with the trend? Are you trading against the trend? Are you with the trend or against the trend? It's a risky against, exactly. So this is what I mean about, even though, oh, wrong one. I wanted to keep this one on my 15. So even though here, okay, my 30-minute looks great. My 1 hour is where my technical confluence is. My 4 hour is still in a buy. So that means that we know that we are counter trend trading. It's giving you the identity that I am counter trend trading. Like I am not trading with, okay? So I might grab a few pips, but I'm trying to teach you how to see the market and build your consistency, all right? So you're either gonna wait. Some of you guys probably jumped in already, I already know. And you might get 10, you know, well, please stop it there. Just please, please, please. Because it might not reach all the way down there. But my suggestion would be to wait, let this turn back around. And because all of that's going to shift. So all of that's going to shift. You make sure you click the box you want to change around. All right. So just make sure. Questions, comments, or testimonies? Questions, comments, or testimonies? Questions, comments, or testimonies? Because we're about to go ahead and close out. Do you guys have any questions, comments, or testimonies? And I want you to respect that trend line if you did, but understand that that's a counter trend trade. Any questions, comments, or testimonies? It's what's identified. So if you have anything where you identify harmonic patterns, you're looking at swing highs, swing lows, pulling your Fibonacci's, you're doing any of that, then the reality is you want to make sure, right? The reality is you want to make sure that you identify where you are in the market. And even if it's identified, right? Because this is a lower time frame harmonic pattern. This is why we never pull them on the lower time frame. But it doesn't mean that they don't play out. You just have to understand where you are in the market, because we already identified we are counter trend trading right there. So if it doesn't pull all the way up, then it needs to break this, right? It will have to break it. If it does start pulling down, it needs to break it. You allow the retest to happen, and then you trade it to there. All right. So you gotta understand how you gotta watch it. So I'm gonna uncheck all of these because all we did today. So this is another way you can keep up with what we're doing is the USD JPY, and then we looked at our DBP USD. So I'll mark those, okay? Now, also, so you see how it's moving, but I want you to understand, you need to understand the type of trade you're taking if you took the trade. I don't counter trend trade, so I didn't take the trade, just for the record. You know, I don't. I've done it in the past. I did when I was learning how to trade. It didn't work out in my favor all the time. I like the consistency. Some people counter trend trade, and it's okay. But you need to know, I know how to counter trend trade, but I just prefer to trade with the trend, if that makes sense. Okay? Questions, comments, we're going to close out. So as we're closing out, don't forget to get registered. Don't forget to sign up for our webinar. Bring your +1 to the webinar tomorrow night. Make sure you are registered, but register and share this with someone. Take advantage of our affiliate program. That affiliate program is really something that's going to help you. And there are referral bonuses. So understand there are referral bonuses, and there is as well as it being a referral bonus, there is with that, you don't just get the referral bonus, but there is something monthly that you receive as well. So there is a residual that comes with it, a referral residual. So you want to make sure, and some of you all have already received it if you log on and take a look at it. But you want to understand more about the affiliate program, make sure you log in, make sure you watch it getting started, tell you a little bit about BYOB, our affiliate program that's right there. But get registered, bottom of the home page. All right, guys. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and close us out. And Miss Reed, can you close us out, please?
Yes, ma'am. And thank you for another wonderful session this morning. We appreciate you. Let's pray. Glory, honor, and praise to you, our God. We love you because you first loved us, and we celebrate your presence in our midst. Your promises, God, are yea and amen. And we're just elated that you promised to never leave us or forsake us. And we feel your presence, and we're so thankful, appreciative, and grateful for our dream team, Mr. Gerald Rogers and Miss Tasha Dyer. God, thank you for each and every one of our faithful, devoted trainers and all that they do to lead us to prosperity and abundance. God, we thank you for the clarity that we receive today and that we receive on a daily basis every time we come together. And we can decree and declare that we are the largest economic movement known to mankind. And God, we are 2 million strong. We're turning this world upside right. And we are individually and collectively committed to our growth. Thank you, God, for how you showed up in Cleveland this past weekend, God. And we just give you praise and thanks in everything. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen and thank God. And this officially ends this call. We'll meet you tomorrow morning at 5:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. God bless, and let's go our way, prospering in abundance. Amen.